welcome back to Japan, where we're doing a reaction review for the very first time to a band called SUNFIST, and this is a song called No Answer. Now, as is the way since the channel restarted, remember that if you want to see the reaction, I just did that, I'm about to give you the review. The reaction you can see by clicking the link in the description below, which will take you to the reaction video. Sorry we have to do them separately, big complicated reason, but anyway, if you could click that link, it will show you the reaction, and I'm about to give you the review now, so if you haven't seen the reaction already, pause this video, watch the reaction, click that link in the description below. Have you already seen it? Are you ready for the review? Alright, here comes the review. So, this is SUNFIST. Never heard of them before, no idea what to expect. Now, as some of you guys know, I grew up with a lot of different types of music. Not so, just kind of, because my parents never really introduced me to a huge amount of music, I kind of more found it for myself. And when I was growing up, there was a lot of pop punk on the radio, sort of in that late 90s sort of sense of pop punk. And so that was one of the genres that I grew up with. And so, you know, when I hear something that's got that real sort of punk beat, really upbeat, super fast beats, I kind of find that immediately engaging. I know that's not for everyone, but I find that immediately engaging. And I like that this song had that. It really sort of was based on that real raw energy, really sort of tearing away. However, this had a lot to it. I mean, there were some elements of this which I would say were really core punk quality things, in a slightly pop punk way, and yet it had lots of qualities on top of that. Now, if we just look at those pop punk qualities first of all, not saying that's the entirety of what this song is, it had, like I say, it had that sort of punk drum line, and then as well it also had, I love that punk bass tone. You know, if you're going to do something where you're rumbling along, you're playing the bass with the plectrum, which I didn't actually check, but I'm assuming she was, and you know, you're sort of really sticking to core notes, which is what the bass was doing for the bass part here. It was mainly holding things together. Then you want to have a slightly higher pitched bass tone, because as the bass is playing like every single note, you know, it's playing all the time. You don't want it too low or the song just sounds like a dirge. You want it a little bit higher so that the kick drum's underneath it, giving the real impact, and then it's just kind of in the middle of the lower middle of the equalization, giving everything a bit of cement, if you like, to hold it all together, and you know, give it a bit of charge as well. And that's exactly what it was doing, which you especially heard right at the end before the last chorus when it went to just the bass line of the vocals, and you could really hear that bass tone. I know they were turning it up slightly for that bit, but still it sounded great. So the bass was really awesome in this. It was very simple, but like I say, I think that was essential. We often point this out when I'm talking about three-piece bands. I've said this many times before. You get like three types of three-piece band, in my opinion. You get the ones who just sound like a three-piece band. You get the ones who try to take the three-piece band formula and, you know, sort of really experiment with it. And then you get the ones who just say, ignore that we're a three-piece band, and they always do their songs with other instruments being brought in. These guys were somewhere between category 1 and category 2, in that they were very much doing the three-piece bands, or like I say, pop punk energy, and yet they were adding a lot of hard rock elements, you know, the sort of heavier riffing bits where everything went a bit more headbangy. That was really that really showed that they were managing to, if you like, not just be a stereotypical punk band, which is something I really kind of thought added a lot to the song. When it needed to be punk, it was punk. It was charged along, like in the chorus, you know, really sort of charging along, having that punk chorus quality, which was great. You know, the backing vocals being shouted out, everything sort of running along at double time. When the riff came in, it went more hard rock. You know, everything slowed, the beat slowed down to half time, or quarter time actually, depending on which you regard as the correct drum beat for the timing of this song. It went down to that sort of slower timing, and you know, everything then became more impactful. It went more riffy. It sounded like a hard rock song. It sounded like, as we have so many Bandmade fans on this channel, I think it's fair to say it sounded like something you'd expect from Bandmade. But the same as with Bandmade, and the same with, to be honest, all of the bands that I like of that kind of ilk, you have to have one member who is the member who's not doing anything too complicated. The one who's basically the cement who holds everything together. Because if everyone's being a virtuoso twiddler, it's not going to work. And in the same way, again, as with a punk band, it's usually the bassist. It's the bassist because obviously they're the center. The drums can effectively cover the lowest frequencies. I know they cover a lot of frequencies, but the drums are very much covering the kick drum, and the beat is the main thing that you really feel. The guitars tend to be up at the top with vocals, so the bass is in the middle. So usually the bass, like I say, is the anchor, which is what this did so well. as I've now probably said too many times. I've gone around that point a few times there, haven't I? So yeah, the whole feeling of the song was very centered. It really sounded balanced. It gave the drummer a lot of room to be creative. There was some good fills in there. There was some good, like I say, adaptations of the beat. You know, it really felt like everything was being enjoyed. Everything was being made the most of. The guitars as well. Loved, like I say, the backing vocals. Loved the fact that the two vocalists worked together. That was brilliant. It was catchy as well. Like I say, they took advantage of doing like that sort of pop punk style chorus to have it be catchy. Everything about it felt like it was really the best you could, I mean, I'm not saying it's like the best thing ever, but it's the best that you could expect from if someone says, hey, listen to this 3-piece band who do sort of hard rock punk crossover music. This is pretty much exactly the perfect mix. This is what you want to hear. You want to hear the energetic speed and shout along ability of punk, and those cool bass tones, combined with the impactful moments of hard rock when you can break into a little bit of riffing and a little bit of headbanging. I love the fact that it never, I always say good guitar solo can work, but guitar solos are so ubiquitous that they almost become a little bit like a rock writer's cop out. You know, sometimes, it's almost like the guitarist needs to, in order to maintain their ego, they need to be given a solo in every song, or it's something where the solo is just what we put in instead of a bridge because we can't be bothered to write a bridge, or we don't even think about the possibility of writing a bridge. That happens with a lot of bands. I like the fact with these guys, it didn't feel like they needed to rely on the solo. It felt like the song was, crafted quite nicely. And the guitar work was just kind of felt like it just fitted in. It was, everything was being played to fit in with the song. And like I say, nothing felt like it was too, let's just do that because that's what you do, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. It appealed a lot to my personal taste, like I say. I mean, I like lots of genres of music, but I'm not going to deny there's certain things that, just sort of catch you more. Maybe it's nostalgia, maybe it's not. This appealed a lot to my sort of modern enjoyment of bands, like I say, like Bandmade and, sort of more hard rock bands. Been listening to a lot of Foo Fighters the last few years as well. And it appealed a lot to my sort of first real taste of rock, which was growing up with, more sort of punk style music. So for me, it appealed directly to my personal taste, but I'm very interested as always to seeing what you guys think. So as we always do, get in the comments, tell me what you think. I'd love to see the discussion. It'd be great to talk about this one and see what everyone's opinions are. Did you find it a bit generic? Did you find it interesting? Like I say, I'm not saying this crosses any new lines, but I think it certainly does perfect a lot of things we've heard before. I mean, you can even tell in the video. The video was very sort of stereotypical pop punk, and I don't just mean that in a Western sense. I mean, we've seen this with Japanese pop punks as well. Everyone stands on a white background, the camera goes around them, stuff like that. Let's have some cartoon style overlays and things. So yeah, I mean, we're not claiming this to be anything particularly original, but certainly what it is, it's very good at being. And it does, like I say, give me a thirst to hear more. Interested to see, did I do more songs of this ilk, in which case I'm just going to enjoy them probably through personal bias, or did I do lots of variation, in which case it's going to be really exciting to see what other things they can do with their sound. As always, like I say, if you know the band or not, whether you like this or not, get in the comments, tell me more, or give your opinions. It's all good. Music, the subjective, the objective, it's all fun. And if you want to get more involved in the discussion, remember there's also links in the description below to our Discord and our Reddit, where we're always chatting all the time about Japanese music, as well as my Facebook, Twitter, and the Patreon for our wonderful Patreon supporters who are the reason why we're still here doing this. So anyway, for now, thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully I'll see you soon on the next video. Thank you for making it to the end of this one. Until I see you in Japan soon. Ciao, ciao.